Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about the month of November if you're a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So this month for you is going to be one of the best months for you financially. You may start to have a lot of confidence during the month of November as well. This is going to be really amazing for any sort of business opportunities. You may find yourself focusing a lot more on the things you do every single day for work, as well as really like your daily routine. This is going to be the month that's going to be a major turning point for you financially. I feel like as a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, you may have really been focused on changing careers or just becoming more creative in your day-to-day life and trying to incorporate that into your work life. And the month of November, although it will be like 11 months into 2025 or almost in 2026 at this point, it is going to be that month where you start to have those major breakthroughs financially. This is going to be a really good time all year for your spotlight energy, for starting a new business, any sort of entrepreneurship, having some sort of side hustle. And although this month will have a major focus on the things you do every single day, as well as like your day-to-day hustle and your day-to-day grind, it's like you're gonna start being rewarded financially for all the work you've been putting in since January. Because this month has a major focus on Scorpio energy, and not just because we are in Scorpio season in the month of November, but because we're gonna have Venus enter the sign of Scorpio, and just generally a lot of focus on that sign in general. So it's going to be really good for you financially. I would also say this month may also have a major focus on social media for you. You may find yourself creating content, starting a content creation journey basically, or also starting like a podcast, a YouTube channel, a TikTok page, something involving communications. You may also find yourself writing a book or reading a book during this time as well. It's going to be a major time for you for any sort of communications and really beginning to make a living from those things. If you work more of a 9-to-5 job, you may find yourself incorporating social media into what you do, or you may also find yourself having to write a paper, having to deliver a presentation. You may have to do something that involves a lot of spotlight energy on you. You may have to deliver some sort of public presentation. You may have to give some sort of like webinar. You may have to do something involving public speaking. That might be another big thing that will happen during the month of November for you as well. You may also find that this month could involve a lot of errands or just kind of going from place to place in the current area where you live. You may find yourself going to relatives' houses, friends' houses, and I feel like this kind of ties in very nicely with the fact that in November we are in the holiday season. So around Thanksgiving, you could find yourself traveling very frequently to your friends, families, or neighbors' houses all of the time. You may go to a lot of Friendsgivings. You may also spend a lot of time with family. You will begin to have a lot of focus on just kind of going back and forth places, running to the store, running errands, doing anything you kind of need to do, like shopping, like grocery shopping, which again makes a lot of sense for Thanksgiving, that sort of thing. And you will definitely also kind of still be in your fitness journey during this time. The very beginning of November, you will still have Venus in the sign of Libra for the first 3 days there. So it's like having a lot of focus on eating healthy, but also exercising. I feel like this might be the time where you may actually like do a 5K on Thanksgiving. That might be another thing that you may do for the very first time. So when we really get into the month of November, so on November 4th, we will have Mars entering the sign of Sagittarius. It was in the sign of Scorpio for about a month and a half previously, but when it transits into the sign of Sagittarius on the 4th, this is going to be a lot of focus on communications, doing things as part of your day-to-day routine, exercising more frequently, taking more short-term trips, going from like the grocery store and back, going to the gym and back, going to the mall and back, that type of thing. Lots of focus on a lot of like short-term travel, or also, we are in the holiday season, so you may find yourself going to relatives' houses and back, friends' houses and back. A lot of focus will be there. You may also have a lot of focus on social media as well, with Jupiter currently in the sign of Cancer. And it will continue to be in the sign of Cancer until about summer of 2026. You may find yourself also focusing more on social media, being a content creator, creating something that is very positively received, and just really focusing on communications. Like you may start a YouTube page, TikTok page, something on social media, or you may also find yourself starting a podcast, writing an ebook, writing an online communications course, something like that. A lot of focus on that. You may also find yourself leisurely listening to podcasts, YouTube videos, reading books, that sort of thing. You will also be putting a lot of energy towards that as well. When Mars transits a sign, not only will you feel this like gut urge to begin working on that thing, you will also be putting a lot of energy and drive towards it. On the 7th, we will have Venus entering the sign of Scorpio. For you, this is going to be one of the best times financially for you. This is going to be amazing for your financials. Like, this is going to be like receiving that raise at work, finally having your side hustle or business do really, really well. You may also find that in the month of November, after Venus enters the sign of Scorpio, this is going to be just amazing for starting a new business, or if you're a content creator, you may begin to see things really pick up after this time. It's just going to be really, really good financially. I would also say you'll also become very confident. Having Venus in the sign of Libra, which is your sign for the past month or so, it's like you're transitioning from really taking care of the way you present yourself into then feeling very, very confident and seeing your financials really elevate. You may also become more interested in the stock market, starting a side hustle. You may also start an online business, something that will really elevate how you earn your income and starting a new revenue stream, and also seeing your current revenue streams really elevate. On the 8th, which is the day after this, we will have Uranus go back into the sign of Taurus. Uranus has been retrograde since September, and it started in the sign of Gemini, and now on November 8th it will go back into the sign of Taurus. For you, this is a major focus on transformation. This might also have a major focus on intensity in relationships, while also having like a major focus on shared resources or other people's resources. With Venus also in the sign of Scorpio, it's going to be on the Scorpio-Taurus axis. That will be kind of like elevated by Venus and Uranus transiting those signs. It's very likely you may have some sort of financial windfall, some sort of financial breakthrough. Always with any transits for Taurus for you, always lean on the side of caution for intensity. When it's in the sign of Taurus for you, it's not the easiest time. It can be kind of intense, especially with relationships with other people. However, it will also have a major focus on shared resources. So that's another opportunity for you to really elevate your resources. So a great way to kind of deal with these transits is starting a business, side hustle, and focusing on what you do every single day to elevate these things. So we will have Mercury retrograde in the month of November. It will begin on November 9th. It will start in the sign of Sagittarius. It will go back into the sign of Scorpio on the 19th, and it will officially turn direct on the 29th. During Mercury retrograde in November, we will have a major focus on communications for you as well as your finances, especially at the beginning of this Mercury retrograde. So from the 9th to the 19th, you may focus a lot on income streams, digital income streams. Making your income from content creation makes a lot of sense with having all the focus on Pisces for you, Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. You may find yourself creating content, focusing on social media and how you can improve your social media presence. While also, when we have Mercury go back into the sign of Scorpio, for you, this is going to be a major focus on how can you elevate these income streams. With Venus transiting the sign of Scorpio, this will bring some natural luck. Venus is a very benevolent planet, so it'll naturally attract clients, higher income streams, and just a lot of luck financially, basically. Venus is very benevolent. Mercury retrograde going back into the sign of Scorpio, it's going to have you really cognizantly think about these income streams and what things you can do every day to really elevate this and make the most from it. On the 11th, we will have Jupiter enter its retrograde cycle on November 11th. For you, you may also begin to kind of reassess and rethink what you're doing in the public eye, what you're doing with your career, with entrepreneurship. You've had Jupiter transiting the sign of Cancer since about July or really June. Now, when it goes retrograde until 2026, during this time, you will be focusing a lot on how you can become more self-sufficient with your public image, how you can be a lot better with your public image, what things you can do with your current profession, things involving entrepreneurship, along with Mercury also being retrograde during this time in the sign of Scorpio, being trine to that. It's going to bring a lot of luck with the things that you're doing. It's going to be very benevolent financially for you, but also it's a lot of focus on becoming very successful, being seen, being more of a public figure, and really elevating yourself financially between November 11th, which is also 11/11. We're gonna have Jupiter retrograde on 11/11 into March 2026. That's gonna be the time where you start to become much better at what you do and much better at how you present yourself, your public image, your career, and also really financially elevating as well. On the 22nd of November, we will have the sun move into the sign of Sagittarius. So during this time, a lot of focus for you on social media, communications, writing, reading, anything involving communications at all, as well as like your intellect. You may find yourself reading a book, writing a book, starting a podcast, creating a podcast, or again, also kind of going back and forth between relatives or friends' houses, going shopping. It's not going to be the most intense transit, but you will feel this naturally starting on the 22nd, where you will have more focus on these themes. I feel like it makes a lot of sense because we'll also be in the holiday season. So during this time, you may find yourself going from place to place, party to party, house to house, that type of stuff. On Thanksgiving, we're having a few major transits happen the same day. We will have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio on Thanksgiving, as well as Saturn turning direct after quite some time in the retrograde period since July. Saturn has been retrograde in the sign of Pisces since July, and it is going to turn direct on Thanksgiving. For you, this is not going to really impact any of your social dynamics on Thanksgiving. You will still have really positive relationships with the people around you that day. And you may also really tell the people who you're around that day what you're doing with your career. You may really be focused on your self-confidence, presenting yourself as a very confident person. They might also really hype you up for what you're doing. And you're also going to start to have an easier time with your health and an easier time with your day-to-day routine. You may also find yourself working very frequently before Thanksgiving, and then things become very easy after Thanksgiving. On the 29th, we will have Mercury go direct in the sign of Scorpio. For you, this is going to be you having more of a plan with what you're going to be doing moving forward with all of your finances, what you do for a living, how you earn your income. You could have become more of an entrepreneur during this time, and you may have also started a business. So things are going to become a lot easier for you financially, and you're also going to come out of that with a plan to become more successful and more in the spotlight, and also have your business become very successful as well. On the 30th of November, we will have Venus enter the sign of Sagittarius after being in the sign of Scorpio for almost the whole month of November. On the 30th, you're going to start to focus more on communication, social media, and you will also start to see your social media presence grow and expand. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more astrology updates.